spoke to Ridham Desai of Morgan Stanley earlier in the morning. Morgan Stanley, of course, is bullish on the market, and they believe that the Indian market will outperform the emerging market peers.
I think the broad market looks quite attractive. A lot of mid-cap companies have reported strong earnings, way ahead of expectations, and I think they've turned the corner. And as the economy turns up, the broad market, I think, will do better than the narrow market. The broad market, I think, also looks more attractive on valuations. And the third thing is what India does relative to the world, more pertinently relative to emerging markets. And on that count, I think India should continue to outperform. India's correlations with the EM are declining, but they're still there. And therefore, it will play a role in how India delivers in terms of absolute levels. But I think India should outperform because it has a better macro mix, it has a better growth dynamic, and of course, it's got a better long-term story. I think the revision cycle has clearly troughed out. I think we are at the start of a new earnings cycle. I think the first order derivative for earnings growth should turn positive next quarter. So I think there are reasons to be positive, but of course we'll keep an eye on PPI deflation and how global trade develops. I would hope that the global economy doesn't take a leg down further, and if that doesn't happen, then I think we should probably get mid-teen earnings in the next 12 months. I think the corporate debt cycle is over. Okay, so the worst is behind us. That doesn't mean there aren't firm-specific problems. That doesn't mean that the PSU banks in particular have sorted their balance sheets, because they may not have recognized the past problems, so they may still report the issues, as we saw in this quarter and probably the next couple of quarters. But I think the worst of the corporate debt cycle is over. I think the private sector retail banks should do very well. Retail loan growth is already at a 5 or 6 year high. And I think in the next 5 years, we're probably going to get a boom in retail loan growth. The GST bill will have a fairly good probability of clearing in the monsoon session. With respect to the market, I think expectations have been low. A lot of investors dismissed our report saying that this is not happening. That said, I think its impact on the market may not be dramatic.
Okay, well, we're going to keep getting you excerpts of that conversation through the day, but just a quick word on the markets. We're quite stable. It's just about consolidating.